Okay, so we are continuing our Indisputable Truth book series. We are on page 110 in the third edition of the book. So we just discussed the purpose of life. And to just summarize the whole section of the purpose of life, we said that God, the infinite good, didn't create the world because he needs anything. He created it for our benefit. The ultimate good, want to share his good. And from our perspective, okay, God created the world to give us the greatest pleasure. And what is that? To have a relationship with him. That we said if you combine all the pleasures of this world, it won't equal to 1 millisecond of being connected to God in the next world. That's how infinite and great that pleasure is. Okay, it's above space and time. And we said that, so what's the point of this world? Does this world meaningless? No, we said no, this world's very important. Because this world, whatever you do in this world is going to determine your relationship with God. This world's a test, it's a testing center, it's a place of challenges and tests. God puts you in different environments, give you different strengths, weaknesses, and based off how hard you work in this world to reach your full potential, to do the good and avoid the bad, that's going to determine your relationship with God in the next world. Okay, so Judaism is all about having a relationship with God, and the ultimate place for that relationship is not just this world, but the next world. Fine. Now, directions to heaven. How does a person make it to the next world? Right? So we said the whole purpose of life to get to the next world, to have a relationship with Hashem. Okay? Again, not saying this world is nothing. No, this world's very important. But how do we get to the next world? Although there are many factors that can help a person get there, there are three major categories. So I kind of categorize into three categories, but obviously, you could say everything's in one category, whatever. But the three categories are what? Learning Torah, doing the mitzvot, and fixing our character traits. Okay? Now, technically, learning Torah is a mitzvah, and fixing your character traits is also a mitzvah. Okay, so so really, it's just one category, right? Doing the mitzvot, and it's funny. The word mitzvah. What does the word mitzvah mean? It comes from the word svuta. Svuta means connection. So a mitzvah is an act that connects you to the infinite. Now, you get the word mem, mitzvah, right? Mem, sadi, vav, hey. And we know God's name that represents that he's infinite is yud and a hey and a vav and a hey, right? Now, mem, there's something called ad, bash, you could, every single letter of the Hebrew alphabet, you could, so the first letter, aleph, you could correspond it with tav. Bet with shin, right? Gimel with, the third to last, right? So the first to first, second to second, third to third, yeah? So the idea is what? The idea is that so if you take the word mitzvah, the word mem is the 10th to last. So what's the 10th letter in the Hebrew alphabet? So if that's the 10th to last, what's the 10th letter? So mem really gives you yud. And hey is and sadi is the 5th to last. And what's the 5th letter? Aleph, Be, Gimel, Dalet, hey. So really the word mitzvah in Morse code, and in secret code, it gives you the word yud, right? So mem equals yud, sadi equals hey, right? So you get yud and a hey and a vav hey. So really in the word mitzvah, you get the word Hashem, the infinite, right? How God's infinite. So really a mitzvah does connect you to the infinite. So that's beautiful. It's a beautiful idea right there, right? So a mitzvah helps you connect to God. Now, those are the three ways of getting close to God: learning Torah, doing mitzvot, fixing our character traits. Fine, let's focus on the idea of learning Torah, okay? So, a lot of what we're about to read right now stems from the book Eye of the Needle by Rabbi Yitzchak Cooper Smith, okay? Based off the, kind of the teachings of Rav Noah Weinberg. So man's creative genius for harnessing technology to make life more comfortable has resulted in the production of an enormous range of machines and gadgets. From the basic to the complex, almost every instrument comes with an owner's manual, a set of instructions that enable the customer to derive optimum benefit from his purchase. Okay? Optimum benefit from his purchase. We can't program a computer without first reading the instructions. The instructions. Learning to fly a plane may take months of lessons. Performing brain surgery requires years of intensive study and training. The more complicated the procedure, the more we need preparatory training and detailed instructions. Without instructions to lead the way, a person could experience loss of frustration and waste lots of time. While we understand the need to spend years preparing for a career, few take the time and effort to properly equip themselves for life's most complex and potentially rewarding challenges, such as choosing a spouse, making a marriage work, raising well-adjusted children, right? Actualizing one's potential, being a moral person, and building a flourishing society. So basically the idea is everything in life comes with an instruction manual. Okay? Now if you want to use that thing to the best of its ability, you read the instruction manual. I remember, I just bought a mic, okay? And I'm trying to, figure out the mic. And Sorry. I bought a camera. Okay, it's an AI camera that I put on my computer. Okay, and the AI camera has hand signals on it. So if I put my hand straight up like this, it stops. Right? If I put my hand again like that, it starts moving and following me and tracking me. If I zoom my finger like this, it zooms in. If I zoom it out, so it has hand signals. Now, when I was trying to use it, I was too lazy to read the instruction manual, and I was just trying to figure out the camera. And then I would move my hand, and all of a sudden the camera starts moving. And then I'll put my hand like this, and it would start zooming in. And I didn't understand what's going on, right? So until I looked at the instruction manual, I'm like, okay, that's how you use it. And now when I study the instruction manual, and I also watched a YouTube video on it explaining all the how to use the camera. Now when I use the camera, it's so easy to use. It wasn't so hard. I just had to spend a little bit of time to learn about it, and now I'm using that camera to its fullest capability. And you can apply that to any area of our life. And that's what the Torah is for our life. The Torah is the instruction manual to take this very complex thing called life, right? Human beings, relationships, raising kids, marriage, dating, finding your spouse, whatever it is, right? Building a flourishing society. And the Torah gives you that instruction manual, not from some human being who lived thousands of years ago, but from the Creator who created everything. And God gives us instructions on how to maximize life, how to take ourselves and use our full potential, and how to maximize our capabilities, right? Without the Torah, you're kind of in the dark. You're trying to go through life, and I love to compare it to a maze, okay? We're in life, life's a maze. We're trying to get to the middle of the maze, or a better word, you could use labyrinth, okay? So imagine one of those garden maze labyrinths, whatever you want to call it, and you're trying to get to the middle. Now, if you had a GPS navigation, boom, you can get straight to the middle, even though it's confusing the pathways, but with the GPS, you can get there in 5 minutes with no frustration. But if you don't have a GPS navigation, if your whole goal is, you know what, let me just figure out through trial and error. So you close your eyes, you go here, dead end, go here, dead end. Okay, you're stuck. And instead of a 5-minute journey, it takes 5 hours, okay? So you get to, maybe you'll never get there. I don't know. But the idea is that if you had a GPS navigation, if you had the Waze system, to guide you, Google Maps, whatever you want to call it, you'll get there in less time and less frustration. And that's what the Torah is. Some people go through life through trial and error. They only learn what a good marriage is after 10 divorces, right? They only learn how to raise kids once they messed up with so many of their kids. They only learn how to, be successful after going through trial and error. And of course, trial and error is very important. But why go through in trial and error if the Creator of the universe is giving you the cheat code to life? If He's giving you the instruction, He's saying just read this book, spend a little bit of time. Just like me, I was too what's the word for it? I was too stubborn to go read the instruction manual for 10 minutes and learn what to do. And now I know how to use the full capability of my AI camera for my computer, what I use to do Zoom meetings, right? If I just spent a little bit of time, what happened? Same thing with life. If we just put a little bit of effort and study the Torah and take it a little bit seriously, we would know how to be successful in life. We wouldn't have to suffer. And there's so many people who are suffering. And I can say the same thing about any area of our life. It could be health, right? If you just took the time to study nutrition, right? Bezrat Hashem, I really want to write Indisputable Truth, Health Edition, okay? All about nutrition. I have a whole book ready worth of content to write a book on that. Bezrat Hashem, with Hashem's help, And I'm thinking to myself, if people knew what I knew about nutrition and they just studied it a little bit, they wouldn't be 90 years old. It's really sad. There's people, people are living long lifespans. They're living to 90 to 100. But what is a life if from age 70 a person has cancer and he's constantly going to chemotherapy? Okay, he lived to 90. But those 20 years of life were suffering in the cancer in hospitals, passing out from chemo, whatever it is, right? It's not a great form of life. What good is it to live to 90 years if it's through all that suffering? But if people took the time to get educated about the importance of eating healthy and avoiding certain bad foods, exercising, stress reduction, whatever, maybe instead of suffering and everything, they could have gone through their life and lived to 90 years with and be able to walk, move, right? And all that kind of stuff, and be healthy and enjoy their grandchildren, not enjoyed in pain and sorrow and weakness, right? So that's what the same thing with life. Why we're so, a lot of us, it's just built into us to be stubborn, to not want to look at the instruction manual. And it's crazy. I'm telling you, it happens to everybody. I think with every product I had in my life, I was like that. I was just too stubborn to use the instruction manual, and I just wanted to just go cut straight and just figure out the item myself. And always, it never ever led And I'm telling you, in every area of my life when I did that, I was never successful. I always had to experience frustration, whether that's using my iPhone, whether it's my computer, whether it's, I don't know, using a new technology, whether it's the refrigerator I have, that has an instruction manual of how to use the settings on it, right? Every area of your life, it just makes sense to study that instruction manual. So the same thing with Judaism, the same thing with the Torah, okay? So it's funny, when it comes to our careers, when it comes to school, all of a sudden, I'm going to spend 8 years, 10 years to become so educated to get schooling on how to be the best doctor and lawyer, right? Or businessman. But when it comes to our lives, to our marriages, to our relationships, to our kids, right? I started learning, I'm listening to a class right now on how to raise kids. Okay, I'm listening from my Rabbi Yitzchak Berkowitz, and I'm listening to the classes, and I'm thinking to myself, if people don't know this information, how the heck are they going to raise kids? There's so much wisdom to raising kids, so much psychology, right? And there's so much, and if someone's just raising kids, they don't have that, they're going to be not successful. Same thing with marriage. Before you get married, all chatanim, all brides and grooms, they take classes with a rabbi to educate them on marriage and give them marriage advice. Sometimes for 3-4 months, they're getting educated on how to have a good marriage. So we're willing to go through work, go to school, kill ourselves to become doctors, lawyers, businessmen, whatever it is. And not to say that's not important. Of course, you got to go to work in school. But when it comes to our lives, to our marriages, to the stuff, again, if I always ask people this, right? If you have to choose, okay? Again, I'm not, obviously in reality you can have both. But if you have to choose to be a billionaire, but not have wife and kids and not have a good relationship with your wife and kids, or be average and have wife and kids. Okay, if that was the two options, obviously that's not true. You could be rich and you could have wife and kids. But I'm just saying, if you had to choose two, I'm asking the guy who's a workaholic, who's working, hustling, trying to make money, right, and is not giving time to his personal growth. I asked that guy, what would you choose? And that guy would tell me, of course I would choose a wife and kids. Meaning everything he's doing, he's trying to make the money, hustling, running, business deal, whatever, all that is, meetings to meetings, he's trying to do it for his wife and kids, right? But then I asked the same guy, are you willing to invest a little bit of effort into your wife and kids by studying how to have a good marriage, how to raise your kids? No, all of a sudden, there's no time for that. There's time for everything else, but there's not time for that. Does that make sense? We're willing to invest so much time to go to schooling, to become doctors and lawyers, but we're not willing to get some education, right, on how to live life and how to be the best us and how to raise kids and have a family and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's ludicrous to how we do that. But again, that's in the human psychology. We're stubborn. We want to do it the hard way, right? We want to just do trial and error. We want to waste time. Maybe it's something sick within us that we just like going through trial and error and just messing things up until we get it right. But really, the smart person who's a chacham, someone who looks 10 steps ahead, someone who gets educated and learns, and now when he goes into marriage, of course, there's always going to be trial and error, but at least it's based off of wisdom. Now he could, make his steps and make his moves much in a smarter way. But okay, let's continue on that. There is nothing inherent in Western life that imbues man with the clarity or focus on living life effectively. Nor are there schools that address the challenges of living. The purpose of a secular education, to be a doctor, lawyer, whatever purpose of college is not to learn how to live. They don't teach you how to live, but learn how to make a living. Without a solid foundation in place, individuals and communal life will not withstand the test of time. Left to his own devices, man is bound to confront obstacles which he is ill-equipped to overcome, that you don't have the ability to overcome it. The evidence is all around us. The rampant problems plaguing our society, divorce, drug abuse, depression, suicide, alcoholism, murder, rape, speak loudly enough, right? But while American society is critically ill at the young age of 200 plus years, because American society, around 200 years ago, over 200 years ago, the Torah lifestyle is still vibrant and flourishing more than 3,300 years, 3,300 years after its inception. Meaning the Jews, we had it from day one, these instruction manuals, and Baruch Hashem, if you look at the stats, we're killing it in all the stats. Lowest divorce rate, highest marriage rate, right? Raising kids, we have the lowest rates of suicide, alcoholism, and all that. We are killing it in that sense. The word Torah literally means instruction. What does Torah mean? It comes to the word hora'ah, misorah, right? Mora means teachings, instructions. So Torah Chaim, right? In the prayer book, when you read the prayers, the daily prayers, we call Torah Chaim, instructions for living, instructions for life. Therefore, the Torah is an instruction manual from the Creator himself that gives us instructions on how to live life. From the time he begins to learn, the Torah Jew is immersed in a curriculum that provides him with the tools to live a successful life. When you're hearing a Parsha class, when you're learning Halacha, when you're hearing any type of Judaism class, even the class you're hearing to right now, right? These are all classes that teach you ideas and foundational principles to live a successful life. It instructs us on how to live the happiest, most pleasurable, and meaningful life. Again, not just the next world. Forget about just getting to the next world. Of course, the next world is important. But Torah gives you the best life in this world. It instructs us on how to live with daily, weekly, monthly, and annual mitzvot, commandments, embracing the length and breadth of life. Judaism charts the way for us to develop our potential to the fullest. When we step back and look at the wealth of practical and ideological lessons woven through the life cycle of a Jew and compare it with the life cycle of a secular, non-religious person, the contrast is stark. Compare Rosh Hashanah and its awesome significance with New Year's Eve in Times Square. What's Rosh Hashanah? Our New Year's, we're praying, we're fasting, we're making resolutions of how to actually get closer to God, how to improve ourselves. It's Judgment Day. On the other hand, the other nations, right? What are they doing on New Year's? They're getting blasted at Times Square. They're trying to look for the next girl who they're gonna get with, right? They have no it's a stark comparison. Whether it's interpersonal relationships, self-awareness, dealing with parents, choosing a spouse, building a cooperative community, amazing community, animal rights, or environmental concerns, Torah spans the range of human activity and is the ultimate user's manual for maximum benefit from the world and from our lives. The Torah talks about any subject under the sun. You want to know what to think about medicine, law, science, architecture. It could be any topic. The Torah covers every topic under the sun. Okay? To ignore it is to invite tragedy. Okay, and it says in the footnote, while the Torah society is not entirely problem-free, most of the difficulties that do exist occur precisely when its members subordinate Torah values to that of popular culture. So again, very important idea. We're not saying the Torah world is perfect. Of course, it is. It's much better than everybody else. But of course, you might see people who call themselves religious, and they might someone who's religious that got divorced or whatever. Now, the point I'm trying to say is, yeah, usually that's because they become secular or they're not so strong in their mitzvah observance. Yes, here and there cases, yeah, you can always find cases, but generally we're always going for the masses. There's always exceptions to every rule, okay? And different scenarios. But I'm saying, generally speaking, it's much better than the secular world. Yeah? And if you see somebody in the religious world or the Orthodox world, whatever you want to call it, are failing, it's probably because they're not living up to the Torah in that particular mitzvah. They might be keeping other mitzvahs, they might be dressing religious or whatever it is, right? But even though that's not really, whatever. But I'm saying is that, yeah, they might keep Shabbat and kosher, but they could be failing in learning Torah every day, right? Or maybe they keep Shabbat, but they're not really keeping Shabbat like they think they are, right? They're keeping it from a very superficial perspective. So all I'm just saying is that if you see an Orthodox person, he's not living the best life, okay, maybe because he's not living actually according to the Torah. Anybody could call themselves Orthodox in a sense, yeah? So, but really, the reality is, to ignore the Torah is to invite tragedy. Now, many people think that life does not need any type of guidance. You just go with the flow, or in other words, just wing it. The answer to these people is, would you ever wing it as a doctor performing open heart surgery or an airplane pilot with hundreds of passengers relying on you to bring them home? The answer is, of course not. So why would you leave your personal life to guesswork? Why would you leave your whole life to guesswork if you're not going to do it any? Be consistent. If every other area of your life, you're not leaving it to guesswork and you're putting effort and intent and you're learning and you're getting educated, why are you doing that with your life? Is your life not important? Is your marriage and your kids not important? There are far better ways to learn about life than through trial and error. Just imagine being able to catch all your mistakes before they ever happen. Life is too short, and it's a shame to spend it figuring out the basics instead of reaping the rewards of existing knowledge. There's already existing knowledge. Why do you have to go waste your time through trial and error? Stupid. You already have the guidebook. Why you want to go through trial and error and waste your time? You already have the guidebook. You have already existing knowledge. Learning Torah helps us understand this crazy world, and most importantly, it allows us to forge a relationship with Hashem, the Creator. By learning Torah, we acquire wisdom, and this brings us true joy. The more wisdom we acquire, the better our life will be. Ignorance is not bliss. Whoever tells you, oh, if I don't know, it's not good, that's the stupidest thing ever. If you don't know hot dogs are group 1A carcinogen, processed meats are group 1A carcinogen, right? Meaning they cause cancer, and you eat hot dogs and you say, oh, I don't want to study about the importance of health. Okay, whether you like it or not, it's the reality that that it causes cancer, right? You not knowing, ignorance is not bliss. It's not going to do anything. It's not going to make your life better. Okay, you're going to get affected rather. It's a reality. Same thing with life. Life is a reality. Okay, the reality is whether you're educated or not. Okay, if you want to make money, you gotta do your thing. Right? You want to have a good marriage, you gotta get educated. That's the reality. You saying ignorance is bliss will never get a person. That's just dumb. We don't do that with any other area of our life. Why do that with our Judaism? Okay. The more wisdom we acquire, the better our life will be. Wisdom is power. Wisdom makes your life better. The more educated you are, the better you'll be able to be in all aspects of your life. Don't forget that, and don't let anybody teach you otherwise. Whoever teaches you otherwise is stupid. They're lying to you. They're just scamming you. They want you to live in the darkness that they're living in. Do not live into them. Wisdom is power, especially if that's wisdom from Hashem. This is one of the many reasons why it's so important to learn Torah. Okay, now, reaching our potential. Everyone wants to be great. I asked tons of people this question. Do you want to be a level 1 Jew, or do you want to reach greatness? Do you want to reach your purpose in life? Do you want to reach your full potential? And not one person ever told me, oh, I want to be just average. I'm okay being an average person. No, everybody wants to be great. And you know what's crazy? I was just thinking this in my brain. What are terrorists? You know those people who go shoot up schools? What's their deal? Why are they shooting up a school? Because they want to be famous, but they don't want to put in the work to be famous. They don't want to go be a successful doctors, lawyers, businessman, actor, whatever it is, to become famous. So they want to take a shortcut. And their shortcut is, how do I become famous? By becoming infamous. By going and doing something so horrible that everyone in history will remember me for that horrible act. But that's just cheating yourself. That's just a lie. Those people who do that are selling themselves short. Obviously, they're criminals and disgusting people, right? But the idea is they don't want to work hard. They don't want to work hard to be great. So instead of working hard to be great, they want to take shortcuts to become famous. Instead of working hard to be great, they want to take shortcuts. And that's why they do. Okay, yeah, what those acts, or I guess they're not. From their perspective, how hard is it to do what they're doing, right? But in reality, that's just a scam that they're tricking themselves to become great. Which in their minds, obviously it's not greatness. It's obviously stupidity. But I'm just saying, a terrorist is obviously, he's not thinking right. Obviously, if he's a terrorist, he's obviously has the wrong mindset. But that's the idea. It's just a shortcut. They want to get famous by not working hard. Okay, and I like to call it a cop-out. It's a cop-out to becoming the real, because everyone wants to be great, but their greatness is a cop-out greatness. It's not real greatness, it's fake. Okay? But that's the idea. It's a very, something I was just thinking about, because of, especially, with what's going on in Israel, with Hamas and everything. They're thinking, oh, we're being great, we're doing great things, killing babies and murdering babies. It's a cop-out. It's becoming famous by being infamous. That's a cop-out. That's not real greatness. So everybody wants to be great. However, as we grow older and begin to understand how daunting and confusing a task this is, many of us settle for something less. The price of greatness is simply too high. It's hard. It's really hard. We all have the potential to be experts at living. God implants within each one of us the capacity for greatness. But when that potential is not brought to life, we experience frustration similar to a concert pianist who is denied access to a piano. To attain any level of competence, however, we need more than just desire. It's not enough to want to be great and, oh, I feel great, I want to do it. A lot of people are all talk. Oh, I want to be great, I want to do great things, Oh, I want to keep Shabbat, I want to do that. No, it's all talk. We need clear guidance, a vision to strive for, and the tools with which to reach that vision. The Torah is our instruction manual for greatness. It provides us the framework that helps us understand our psychology and spirituality. There are clear goals to aspire to and practical observances and tools that help us reach our ideals. There are role models to emulate who show us what is truly practical and attainable. The Torah way of life helps us tap into our potential and shepherds us along the road to becoming the people we want to be. Western culture cannot focus on teaching values because values are considered subjective and relative. Schools can teach reading, writing, arithmetic, but they're completely inefficient in teaching morals and ethics. Okay? Consequently, Western culture spawns generations of people who are frustrated at not being able to realize their potential. People who are confused about who they are and what direction their life should be. Okay. Let's go. Okay, let's finish this section up. Misconceptions about Torah, about the Torah. Many non-religious Jews may look at observant Jews as people whose lives are limited. This is probably very, very important. This is very, very important section I'm about to read right now. Right? It's big misconceptions about Judaism and the Torah. Many non-religious Jews look at observant Jews as people whose lives are limited by the rules and guidelines of the Torah. Right? Oh, you're limited. You can't eat whatever you want. You can't work whenever you want. You can't marry whoever you want. Right? They look at it as limited. Some also say that if I were to become religious, right? And again, what does religious mean? Religious doesn't mean be a rabbi. I had one student, he told me, Rabbi, you keep saying be religious, be religious. I can't be a rabbi. I said, bro, what the heck are you saying? Religious doesn't mean becoming a rabbi. Religious means you study Torah, you do the mitzvot, you fix your character traits, you help other people, you believe in the 13 principles of faith, right? That's what it means to be religious. You don't have to have a beard, you don't have to have payas. If someone wants to do that, it's a nice thing to do. They don't have to do that. They're not obligated. You could be who you are, but as long as who you are, it doesn't contradict the Torah, then you're good to go, right? So if you're a murderer and rapist, then again, that's a problem. You can't be who you are, right? You have to be consistent with the values of the Torah, right? Ethically. But the idea is what? The idea is that that's what it means to be religious, have a relationship with Hashem, with God. Now, some people say, if I were to become religious, I would have to give up some of life's most cherished pleasures. Why would I choose to do that, especially if I'm already happy with my life? This is a very common misconception, when in fact the exact opposite is true. If a person wants to become more religious, it does not mean that he or she has to give up pleasure. It is quite the contrary. As we just said before, in Judaism, we're encouraged to marry, have children, eat, drink, and take pleasures in the world around us. Jewish tradition places great emphasis on simcha, happiness, joy, and joy, and on the abundant opportunities for celebration. Our holiday gatherings are filled with good food, song, dance, and great rejoicing. God created the world for our pleasure, right? People think, I become religious, I can't have pleasure. It's the opposite. Just as parents only want the best for their children, so does God, our Father in heaven, want only what's best for us. Again, He didn't create the Torah because He needs anything. He created it for our benefit. That is why He gave us the Torah. Imagine someone gave you a state-of-the-art food processor with a crazy machine with a whole variety of gadgets and features that allow you to prepare beautiful and delicious dishes with ease and efficiency. If you ignore the instruction manual and never learn how to use the various features, or worse, if you merely use the machine as a paperweight, right? Your enjoyment of it will be extremely limited. You will spend most of your life doing boring tasks that could be done for you. You will only be using a fraction of this valuable gift's potential. So, God wants us to travel through life with the first class ticket. He gave us an instruction manual, the Torah, to show us how to get the most out of life, how to use everything in the world for maximum pleasure. You think Torah limits your pleasure? That's wrong. Torah actually teaches you how to maximize every pleasure in life. Again, becoming observant doesn't mean giving up pleasure. It's just the opposite. Without the Torah, one cannot truly experience all of life's pleasures. In giving up illusions for real pleasure, the opportunities to have it all are expanded beyond computation. All one has to give up is the idea that physical pleasure is the only real physical pleasure people desire. The reason why many people unknowingly attribute certain Christian concepts to Judaism is because their impressions of Judaism have been formed in a society that is predominantly Christian. In reality, Judaism and Christianity are worlds apart. Celibacy, which means someone who abstains from having from marriage and relations, and asceticism, which means like self-discipline and avoidance of all forms of indulgence, typically for religious reasons, right, are Christian concepts. Judaism categorically rejects the view that abstinence from physical pleasure is necessary in order to acquire spirituality. Okay? The idea is, no one says you want to be, Judaism doesn't say, you want to be holy? Go never get married like the Christians do, go in the mountains like the Buddhists do, and, meditate all day and whatever, right? Judaism doesn't say that. Judaism says, no, it's the opposite. We're not like other religions that say you have to run away from pleasures, okay? Some religions, so the secular people are chasing after pleasures all day, and the super religious people, right, the Christians and Muslims, I don't like to use the word religious for that, but those people say run away from the temptations of the world. But Judaism strikes the balance. Judaism says no, you got to do pleasures, but do it right. Okay, pleasure's not. You got to elevate the pleasure. You got to take the eating you do, you elevate it by making a blessing on it and using that energy to connect to God. Right? The relationship with your wife, you elevate that. Everything in Judaism, we take everything. We don't say, oh, don't have it that. No, of course, eating, drinking, of course, it's allowed. You can have a nice steak, but use that, elevate it. Don't be an animal when you're eating the steak. Use the steak to use the energy to do Torah, to do mitzvah, to serve God, right? Use it at your Shabbat table, you turn it into a mitzvah. The idea is we take the physical and we elevate it. That's what makes Judaism different from everybody else. We don't say to run away from it, we say to elevate it, okay? Here's a passage from the book Emunah, a refresher course, that does a great job at explaining this common misconception. The very idea that a life of Torah deprives a person from joy, that the Torah deprives a person of the joys of life is a fallacy. It's a misconception. A person who follows the Torah is able to enjoy life and partake of the good things of this world just as much as a person who's not a believer. He can still eat his fill of the finest foods, wear well-tailored, nice-looking clothing, and sleep in a comfortable bed. He can run a successful business, become a professional, or engage in a craft. He can choose who to marry and enjoy a normal married life and raise a beautiful family. True, shrimp and pork are forbidden. Instant gratification is not always permissible. However, a prerequisite for happiness, even for non-believers, is learning to live with self-control. Without self-control, people overindulge and do themselves great harm. Torah restrictions teach us this self-control without forbidding anything that would put a damper on life. We are advised not to overindulge and not make physical pleasures as an end to themselves. Rather, we use the physical to fuel our bodies and enable us to pursue the spiritual. Basically, we don't treat the other people of the world. They choose the physicality, the end goal. My whole life I'm working hard so I can eat a steak and relax and chill. We say, yeah, you can eat a steak, you could relax, you could chill, you could go on vacation, but as a means to an end to get to the ultimate purpose, which we said before, is to get close to God, right? Take a vacation. You need to relax. You don't need to chill, as long as it's kosher, obviously, right? A kosher vacation. But take a relax, go take a break, go, swim, go relax and whatever, right? But again, make sure, obviously it's in a kosher way, but why are you doing all that? So B'ezrat Hashem, when you take a break and go on a vacation, now when you want to go learn Torah, it'll be easier. Or for example, exercising, go play some basketball, go chill a little bit, go exercise, go work out. Why? Because now when you study Torah, when you want to serve God and do mitzvahs, you'll have energy. Right? Same thing with eating healthy or eating good. You want to enjoy a nice steak. Sometimes we need to relax. We want to eat good food. Right? Okay, eat good food. But you're using that energy for the ultimate goal of fulfilling your purpose in life. So you have energy to do Torah and mitzvah and get close to God. Right? That's the end of the day. We use everything not as an end of itself, but a means to an end. So rather, we use the physical to fuel our bodies and enable us to pursue the spiritual. In other words, we eat to live. So, in other words, we eat to live, not live to eat. Hence, the religious Jew can enjoy the physical world while utilizing the self-control that the Torah teaches us. This will enable him to accomplish his mission in life, in the knowledge that when his life ends, something even better awaits him. The entire Torah was given for our benefit, and the followers of the Torah can actually enjoy life much more than those who do not keep the commandments. Okay? Let's go for 8 more minutes. Let's just finish this up. So we get to the next section of mitzvot, okay? So, the inheritance of the entire Jewish people. Every Jew must understand that the Torah is the inheritance of the entire Jewish nation, and that the study of Torah throughout generations is the only reason why the Jewish people are still here today. The great sage Rabbi Akiva taught that a Jew who lives without Torah is like a fish without water. When we study Torah, we're not studying an abstract and arcane text of the ancient world that's not applicable to our lives. Instead, we're studying the way in which God wants us to live the best life on this earth, which is very practical and relevant. When God wrote the Torah, He knew the future. We said that before. The Torah itself tells us to be careful in Deuteronomy 32 verses 46 to 47. Be careful to perform all the words of this Torah, because it's not an empty, useless teaching for you. For the Torah, it is your life. Millions of Jews throughout the ages have found Torah study to be the single most satisfying endeavor of their lives. Torah reveals to us the mind of God and contains within it the deepest secrets of the universe. Jewish history demonstrates that whenever the study of Torah was neglected, assimilation of the Jewish people became rampant. Today we live in a generation where intermarriage and assimilation are at an all-time high. One of the key reasons for this is because many Jews have not invested time in the learning of Torah, and thus lack even the basic understanding of Torah, and fail to see the beauty in our religion. You must actually live Torah Judaism to appreciate its beauty and wisdom. Only when you immerse yourself in it totally will you discover its full spiritual dimension. Yeah, sometimes from the outside you think you know what's up, but really by living the life you'll see it. I myself, growing up, I didn't look at Judaism like that. I didn't look at it as a beneficial thing in my life. But when I started incorporating the teachings in my life, I saw it. I saw how Judaism does make your life better if you do it right, if you actually live to the Torah. And if you don't live to the Torah, okay, so you're trying to do it, but you see that, the areas you're lacking in. Furthermore, according to the Talmud, one of the 3 questions a person is asked when he leaves this world, So one of the 3 questions we ask when we die is, did you set time for Torah study? What will we answer at the moment if we did not dedicate such time? A person is obligated to learn Torah every day from when he turns bar mitzvah, age 13, until the day his heart stops beating and he passes to the next world. Learning Torah is so great that the Mishnah in Peah 1:1 states that if you take all the 613 commandments and put them on a scale, they would equal the value of learning Torah. That's how great Torah is. The Chafetz Chaim made a calculation that 1 hour of learning Torah, based off how many words and letters per second every letter is a mitzvah, is on average equal to doing 60,000 mitzvot. And it says here, the Ben Ish Chai says on Shabbat, the learning of a Torah of a person is multiplied by 1,000. Just imagine, 1 hour of learning Torah on Shabbat can equal 60 million mitzvot. Every time you learn, the Ben Ish Chai says, Ben Ish Chai is a big rabbi, every time you learn 1 hour of Shabbat, 1 hour of Torah on Shabbat, it's equal to 60 million mitzvot. 60 million, opportunities to connect to God and earn in your relationship with Him, in a sense. Yeah? So, that's unbelievable, right? In a lifetime, how many mitzvahs do you do in a day, right? You put tefillin on, you put tzitzit on. Like, how many mitzvahs can you accumulate a day? Say some blessings before you eat, 100, 200? That's where the main thing is at. That's where the main mitzvot are at. Learning Torah is the greatest. Okay, so let's keep going. I'm almost done, and I'm going to finish this section until we get to mitzvot. Okay, the Torah consists of the oral and written law. This commandment of learning Torah can be accomplished by learning Chumash, the Jewish Bible. Okay, the Tanakh, Mishnah, Talmud, Halacha, Jewish law, Musar, Jewish ethics, Hashkafa, Jewish ideology and thought, or any other realm of Jewish texts or classes. Okay? It is important to know that there is a portion of Torah for every Jew that they can personally connect with. The Torah encompasses so many interesting topics, such as botany, right? Zoology, anatomy, health, medicine, nutrition, astronomy, history, philosophy, psychology, math, music, architecture, ethics, and more. There is no excuse not to learn. We have to understand that without learning Torah, a person would not know how to keep any of the commandments. Unfortunately, today, many individuals are so busy with work or school that they barely make any time to learn Torah. We unfortunately rationalize to ourselves that whenever we have time or become financially wealthy, we'll finally dedicate time to learn Torah. However, the Rambam, Maimonides, warns us against this. In the laws of learning Torah, the Rambam writes that we should make the study of Torah prominent and work secondary. And do not say, when I will be free, I will study, as you will always be busy. Okay? This is the reason why it's important to not wait until you are free, but rather to establish set times to learn Torah daily. Meaning, if you're a person who said, okay, I'm going to learn when I have time. No one has time. Even the guy who's doing nothing all day has no time. Because everybody makes some fake stuff to be busy. The guy saying, I'm busy playing video games. Another guy says, I'm busy running, errands. Everyone makes some kind of excuse, right, to be busy. So if you're not making a set time every day to learn Torah, then you're never going to learn, right? You're always going to say, I'm going to do it then, but it's never going to happen, okay? Now, many of our parents, and we're almost done with this section, many of our parents and grandparents face challenges in doing this mitzvah of learning Torah. In many cities, there were Jewish books printed and access to a rabbi was generally limited, right? Back then it was hard. It was hard to learn Torah. There wasn't so many books. There wasn't so many rabbis, right? Having access to rabbi was hard. Today, we live in a generation with everything at our fingerprints, with hundreds of thousands of free lectures online, thousands of Jewish books in print, and numerous rabbis and synagogues in our communities. It will be truly difficult to present any excuses on why we did not learn Torah while we're in this world. Torah is very accessible today, and one can learn a few hours of Torah a day, even just by playing Torah lectures while driving to work and back. What's the excuse? You're driving to work, so put in a class while you drive to work. You're driving for 30 minutes. You want to waste your time? At least turn your, of course you got to drive to work, you got to do your thing. Okay, so turn the 30 minutes of driving, or an hour, or 2 hours, or 5 minutes, doesn't matter how much it is, or 1 minute, turn it into a mitzvah. At least learn Torah. By the way, it'll make your car rides much more enjoyable. That's what I did. And I learned so much Torah just by driving and listening in the car. Now, we have specifically designed a YouTube channel called the Indisputable Truth Yeshiva for this book. This YouTube channel covers all the fundamental items a person needs to know about Judaism. We highly recommend going through all the videos in our channel. This is the first and most important step after a person finishes reading this book. Please check out the channel by finding it on our website or by scanning the QR code on the back of the book with your phone. You can also find the YouTube channel by just searching the Indisputable Truth Yeshiva in our YouTube search bar. We also made a recommended book list and Jewish app list, which can be found in the appendix. Additionally, if you want to check out some amazing sites for learning Torah, there's simpletoremember.com, TorahAnytime.com, H.com, DivineInformation.com, BezratHashem.org, and iTorah.com. To conclude this section, we know that the book of Joshua teaches, do not let this book of Torah, so in Joshua 1:8 it says, do not let this book of Torah cease from your lips. Rather, recite it day and night, so that you may observe to do all that is written within it. Only then will you prosper in your undertakings, and only then will you be successful. You want to be successful in life, you got to study the instruction manual. That's what the book of Joshua is teaching us. So guys, to finish this off, next week we're going to continue on the section of mitzvot. Now, I want to say it's very important what I mentioned before about the YouTube channel. We have a YouTube channel. Whoever's listening to this video right now is probably watching it on YouTube. Okay, we have a whole YouTube channel. Don't just watch this video on the YouTube channel. Go through our playlist. I made a ton of playlists. I made an online learning center for learn any topic in Judaism. Go to the channel, check out the playlist, check out some of the videos we uploaded, and start delving in to the Torah. Our YouTube channel literally covers every topic. I also recommended other YouTube channels on my channel. If you go to the homepage of the YouTube channel, we're on Spotify. We're on all basically platforms: Apple, Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube. We have a social media page if you want to get your content through there, right? It's called the Indisputable Truth. We're on TikTok, Instagram, whatever. But the idea is have your way of learning Torah, study, take advantage of it. B'ezrat Hashem. Thank you so much for listening. We'll finish there.